Welcome to this episode of Brains Byte Back. I'm your host, Eric Espinosa, and we are kicking off this episode by celebrating Latin Heritage Month and recognizing those in the community and their achievements. So I'm excited today to be joined by Gerardo Sandoval. He is the CEO and founder of Facil Cloud. Gerardo's journey is inspiring. He takes us from his early days in Venezuela, where he launched his first startup at just 16. It was a computer lab where he learned early on the value of empowering his community with computer skills. But it was a small venture that led to his present-day success in leading a global private solutions company that's based out of Miami. He shares a personal story about a family vacation in which he never returned home from, one that's reflective of many Venezuelans that were forced to leave everything behind and not by choice. But that didn't deter him from being a driving force in the tech and Latino community. Today, Gerardo has founded several startups with clients in more than 20 different countries and is recognized as being the main Hispanic or one of the main Hispanic influencers in the world of growth hacking. It's two words you might have heard before, so he joins us to talk a little bit about this method, which is a combination of data science and digital marketing and other elements, which he describes creates a bridge between what companies want and what customers desire. He's all smiles matched with great insight. Stick around.
My name is Gerardo Sandoval. I'm the CEO and founder of Facil Cloud. And we are, let's say, the mostly, that's a tricky question, you know.
It's hard to put, I imagine it's hard to put it in two sentences.
I would say lately we focus on private cloud because we found out that something we connect a lot with privacy, and because the situation happened to my prior company, is that privacy is a really big concern for a lot of companies in South America, and now we're creating private clouds for them to in some way being sovereign of their own data and not use public cloud.
Amazing, Gerardo. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Brains Byte Back. What it sounds like is very niche, right? This is a great opportunity to pick your brain because from what I understand, you're kind of a veteran in the world of startups. You founded several successful startups with clients in more than 20 different countries, which is very, very impressive.
Thank you.
But I want to dive in first a little bit about your come up story because I feel like it, paints a picture of the success of different people from different backgrounds. And from what I understand, you at a very young age, I think around 14, 16 is when you kind of started in your own venture. Can you talk to us a little bit about your background leading up to you becoming the CEO or the founder of Facil Cloud?
Okay, that's amazing question. You know, that's a evolving question. Every time I go back to my childhood, and 2 years ago, I just uh, got informed about I was an Asperger child, and I didn't knew it. And
As in autism.
yeah, in the spectrum, and I didn't knew it. And I all my whole life think that I was a little bit weird. I didn't know why, and everything is so clear for me because I learned to code at 11 years old by myself with a book with no computer. It was I guess why nobody noticed something weird on that child. I asked my mom and she says, you were like all day long writing and quiet, you didn't yell, you behave really well. And that's how I ended up in tech. It was like something like I saw the first computer on my friend's house. It was, oh my God, that's a computer, a real computer. It's not in a bank. It's not in a big company. It's in a person of a person's house. It was like, oh my God, I want to know more. And the first thing she said, if you want to touch it, you have to learn coding. And I was like, oh my God, for sure, let me learn code. And she borrowed me a book, and I came back 2 weeks later. I'm done with the book. I'm ready to start coding. And that was like my first experience with tech. And at this time I thought I'm gonna be a doctor. And that's how my professional career started. I started uh, studying being a doctor. And then something happened in my life. I got to move from the city to another city. There's no university from medical school. And then, okay, I have to choose something else. And then my dad says, why not to try this thing you liked it, the computer sciences. Okay. Just maybe, you know, this is my hobby. I don't want to make it a career. And that's how I ended up being in tech. I founded um, um, Creative Computer Labs, which was my first startup. I was like 16 years old, and I said, Dad, people needs to learn about how to use the computer, and nobody in my city is giving this knowledge to anyone. We have to start. And I borrowed like 50K from my dad, and I bought some computers, and I started my first training facility of Creative Computer Labs. Then I figured out that I have my first marketing lesson of market cap. I got limited by my surrounding marketing and says, okay, it's time to shut down. And that's like the early beginning of starting and finishing a business in my early age of 16 to 17 years old.
But you started early in learning how to manage people, how to teach them at a
Yeah.
very young age, which not a
Yeah.
lot of
And,
people
and,
do.
and at this time, one of the most valuable things is that taking people's money. For me, it was like I didn't know what was the value of what I was giving to them, because at this time, we're talking about a lot of years ago, knowing the software of a computer was like a dark magic. Oh, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Those, it was like not everyone knew it. And being in South America, it was like a more like dark magic. And bringing people from any social class to learn about computers, to educate themselves, it was a beautiful process, because that's where I started learning how to teach other people. And I guess this is like one of my superpowers, that I know how to teach people complex stuff.
So do you think, I guess in Latin America, what you're saying, they had like a different approach to what computers were during that time? Would you say it's kind of similar to like, I guess, the next progression, which is like AI? And some people had
Think
that.
about your parents and AI.
They
Right
don't
now they're
understand
like,
it. They're still trying to.
how is this happening? How is it someone else in overseas responding to my questions? No, it's just artificial intelligence. How this machine is knowing so much things. I can ask everything. Yes, I give them a paid account to my dad of GPT, and he was like, oh my God, that's not real life. And this is now he's his best friend. Now every time he has a question, yeah, I invite him to ask to ChatGPT, and let's see what came up.
I think a lot of us had that same reaction at the beginning. We're like, what
Yes.
is this? This is incredible. But our parents are kind of still there in that mentality, right?
They
And now we're
started to use
seeing,
it. My dad is using it a lot, and unexpectedly, I just did it like a social experiment, and try it. And he started like having deep conversations with the AI, and now he's having fun. At least he's having fun.
so let's go back to how you actually, um, I imagine because you ended up leaving Venezuela. You were mentioning to me before we started the record that you were in
My
Orlando, you
Yeah,
still had a company.
it's fun because everything started with my wife yelling at home in December 2013. I want to take the kids to the parks in Orlando, to Disney, and stop fighting. Buy the ticket. That's it. No worries. And she bought the tickets for March 4th, 2014. It says, okay, that's far. Okay, but let's do it. And we arrived to Miami airport. I drove to Orlando. When I reached the hotel at the next day, I found out like I had like 300. At this time was everything was BlackBerry, and I figured out when I got into the Wi-Fi, I got like 500 missed calls and messages. It was crazy. What's going on? And I text my CFO, what's going on? He says, oh, we have National Guard at the office today, and they asked us to shut down everything, everything. Like every LED light in the office should be shut down. I thought they were thinking about they were the servers. They thought it was at this time I have a company called Iguana Hosting, and this Iguana Hosting was like the GoDaddy in Venezuela. We hosted like 30% of market share down there at this time. And that's how my life in America started. I turned into a political refugee, and then okay, it took me like 4 years to cry for my old business and said, okay, I have to do something else.
That was a
And
pain. Yeah, I can
uh,
imagine receiving that call. But now you're
at
living
this
in
time,
Miami.
I thought it was nothing. I says, come on, I told my CFO woman, relax. I'm in vacations. Give me a couple of days and leave, please. And then when I talk with my lawyer on Monday, he says, hey, bro, that's something weird here because they looks like they really want you to come here and be present and do. I, I thought they want you, and you shouldn't come back for a little while. Little while is now 10 years.
You stayed a lot longer than you anticipated. That was a very long
Yeah,
vacation.
it was a really long vacation, and it didn't was a vacation from day one. I was in the park, like crying with my kids. I was like, oh my god, that's real life. I'm having my whole life business shut it down right now, and I have to be present for my kids to go to Disneyland.
It's a story that I feel is very similar for a lot of Venezuelans because they're everywhere in the world now, right? They were forced to leave, not really by choice, but at the end of the day, now you developed a successful company in Miami. You're helping other companies grow, and really, I guess a lot of what you learned, in the I want to say was it like the 1990s maybe, or you were
Yeah,
really
at the
digging
end of
into
the beginning of the 2000s.
where you were learning this concept of growth hacking. That for
Mhm.
me is I recently just learned about this. I was digging into it a little bit more. I was mentioning to you that I saw some articles really in like 2022, but just this year there's a lot more about growth hacking, and that's really how you help your companies find success. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it is exactly? I know it's very complicated in a way because it's a lot of different
It's
facets.
not. The
It's
the problem
not.
is that it's not. This is like the best kept secret of the tech companies at the beginning. They don't want you to know they're growth hacking anything. But it's like for me, it's like simplify. It's like what do you want as a business? What the customer want, and try to build a a bridge. And usually it's a software bridge or it's a process. But because you want everyone wins. You want the customer wins. You want the business wins. The One of the most famous use cases of growth hacking is Dropbox, the cloud storage company. They grow like 100 times in a year and a half, something
And
like
I guess the king
crazy.
of growth, Sean
Sean
Ellis.
Ellis, yeah,
Yeah,
Sean
yeah,
Ellis,
exactly.
yeah. He was
He
he
spearheaded
was
that.
he was the head of implementation of growth hacking, and that's where like, oh, that's where the real word came out. Like, oh, he's using growth hacking, and what they did is like, okay, Dropbox was a startup with a lot of storage servers, but wanting to have more customers, and the customers they want cloud space to try it out. So the bridge they made is like, okay, every time you bring a new friend, I'm gonna give you 2 extra megabytes of space. So everyone was like inviting people. Everyone that came invite more, and that process is called a loop, a growth loop, and let me, one sec. It's called a growth loop, and that's like the new name for this other companies like Google, Facebook. They've been using growth hacking. They changed the name because they don't want to say they're using the same methodology of Sean Ellis. Probably they don't want to pay him, but at the end, he freed the word, let you know that there's things you could do and not everything is about money. Because at this time, Dropbox, the cost acquisition of a new trial was like $80. So they needed 1 million users, so they needed $80 million. So it's like okay, they have to have a bunch of money, and that's how they overcome that. They knew hard drive for them was cheaper because they're buying wholesale. So the perceived value of space on the cloud this time was expensive. So people want it. So it's like connecting this magic from what people want, how can I trade this what you want for more clients? Because everyone knows, and now in this social world at this time wasn't like social stuff wasn't like the thing, but I would say everyone has a way to communicate with each other online. Let's call it social media. Let's call it a, a platform. Whatever you use, other people online. And if you like something, you can recommend something because you like it and you're going to get a reward. And think about how our brain works. Our brain works based on reward. We have a reward center inside our body. So that's how it's like find the reward. And that's simple. It sounds like it's not, the implementation is the tough part to being, okay, this is my business. How can I grow hacking my business?
Would you say Amazon kind of uses? Now I'm thinking about this because I
Yeah.
use Amazon. But
Yeah.
one of the main things about me using it is that I see the comments that people leave on a product. And that's
Mhm.
what drives me mainly because a company could say anything about their product, about their service, right? They're gonna try
Mhm.
to sell it to you. But at the end of the day, I take it like from the horse's mouth. Are the people that are using this product, what's their experience like? That would drive me more in terms of wanting to purchase the product.
Mhm.
Well, does it
Uh,
fall under that category? Maybe a
yeah,
little.
it is
Yeah.
everything you do. Think about this. For example, uh, something kind of new like TikTok shops, for example. Okay, they charge a percentage of everyone selling stuff on the TikTok shops. But if you're buying for first time, they're giving you money. So as a store seller, because you're bringing value to the community. So people perceive I'm buying this 30% off of the price of Amazon. But in reality, what is happening is that they're letting go their commissions for the product and give them some kickback to the store so they can sell for cheaper. So everyone wins. The new user perceive value of, oh, I'm getting a huge discount on TikTok shop, and the store is selling and is not losing any money extra. It's getting rewarded for selling on TikTok. So it's
But I
like
also,
connecting the bridge.
yeah, but it's also, I imagine, investing in the experience, the first experience first with the customer. You're basically you want to paint this picture with the customer in order for them to come back, right? And their first experience is what kind of draws this
Yeah.
image of what they
Yeah.
think of the
Grow
company.
hacking has something called North Star metrics. It's like, oh, this is what you choose. You choose to, okay, I want to be the best first impression. I want to be amazing. I want that perceive me not cheap, but value. I want, everything. That's your metrics, and that's around those metrics. You want to bring more users based on, and the magic is like everything is measurable. If not measurable, you have to build find a way to measure it, and that's where sometimes it becomes like a little bit dark magic. But usually because we're in tech, everything is mostly is measurable, unless like, oh, how do you feel? Okay, I like the product, but 2 weeks later maybe I don't like this product.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part, but at the end you have to find those North Stars metrics, create those bridges between what the customer want and what the business want, and trade the thing you have the most for the thing you want the most. And that's like all the leverage you have to move. And that's why I said it's not complicated. We used to, consulting guy people around this area make it complicated. But at the end, is, now when you see it, you see, oh, everyone is doing it. So it is everywhere, but no one say.
How did,
Amazon
how,
is not telling you I'm growth hacking my shopping cart. No, they're doing every day for you. They have more and more data, so they can bring you in a superior experience because they want more 5-star reviews. So more people buy the same product you bought. So it's a compound in it's like compound interest on business.
Gerardo, you've kind of been doing the growth hacking thing for many years now. How has AI really changed the approach in growth hacking in these last couple of years?
I love it, because now remember that AI is gonna help us on those things that you have to do repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And a lot of in the core, growth hacking requires a lot of A/B testing, A/B testing, A/B testing, and AI will help to do creative faster, better, really, really good creatives. Right now, it's not like 5 years ago that or 20 years ago when Google tried help you to create an ad from HTML, or that was really, really unsuccessful. Right now, there's a lot of platform that just I want an ad for a roofing company, and I want to say this and this, and then boom, there's an ad. There's no designer required. So what does it mean? You can try angles faster because I got this angle about I want this message, and I try it and I see how it works. And I have my process of grinding the the A/B testing is gonna be streamlined, and I love it because it's not gonna be stuck in, oh, I don't feel motivated to do an ad today, so the muse didn't came today. I suffered a lot with designing because some days they're humans, they're not in their mojo to create a amazing ad. And 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 with I'm not saying that they will replace the designers, but try angles is good. And then when you have the angle proved, you move it to a designer and says, hey, we already proved this angle. I like the green background, the women with the blue eyes and the jumping that way is working. Could you do something better? Because I know they can do better. But the angle was already tested out in seconds. So, no, no, no. And the more testing you do, the faster iteration, the better results you're gonna get. And that's the key. Is that the companies who test more, they're gonna get more results. Period.
Because they have more data, right, to tell a story as well. Yeah.
In the same story, different ways, because there are infinite ways to show the same story. Infinite ways. So at the end, you want to get the one who connect the best with your audience. Talking about marketing side, of course.
Of course, but it also takes, you have to know a little bit of everything, right? Because you have to know about the product development, marketing, in your case, computer science. There's little
Yeah, yeah,
tidbits of,
that's a hard part because usually who decide to work in this area is not a marketing person. Why? Because someday they get tired of the marketeers. Says, I'm tired of a marketeer because take too long. And I decide to, okay, I got to learn something about it. And I found out the growth hacking is more for developers and data scientists than for marketeers. And okay, that sounds like my way, data way. And it's not like spaghetti's in the wall, like, oh, let's see what works. Or let's assume um that my main audience is a women with that age, and when you see the data, it's totally different. So now we go to the data straight to the data. Don't lose any minute of your life if not baked on data.
so this kind of leads up to my next question. What advice would you give to young people out there that are considering growth hacking as a career?
Mm, okay, that's a good question.
Because how did you start? You basically started
I,
in
I
it
I
before it
started
even.
because I didn't find the marketeer that I want to work with because they were like too, fluffy, too magical. It was like, how do you say that? No, it's because I did my study based on the behavior of the users. But you have the data of the users? No, I don't have it. I make questions to 100 people, and that's what the 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 focus group told me. Focus group is like ages back. Right now we have cohort real-time data. We have identity graph. We're in a whole different world that you know the old marketing guys. And I would say could be a software developer who likes marketing, like me. I'm a software developer that I like the idea uh, of communicating in the right way for an audience. I guess that came from my childhood wound of being having hard time communicating, and I wanted to communicate, but from my mouth, like it came only ones and zeros. So I want to create like a bridge between I want to communicate, but I want to back all my decisions on numbers, and that's not marketing. The old school marketing is this base our decisions on thought, not on data. And I will say, okay, if you like coding, if you like data, you're not afraid of huge Excel sheets, and and you're now you're friend of AI, and you know how to make proper questions. Is so easy to understand data. So from that data you can understand now, you can take more accurate decisions in marketing, aka let's say growth hacking.
Because it's there could be somebody out there listening to this and not be aware that this is a possible career choice down the line, and it's
I would say,
exciting
I guess data is the I wouldn't say it's not the new, it's the actual goal, because we're coming, a cookieless society is coming. So first party data, the data you own that you created, your customers, is is that maybe the only thing we're gonna have as a business in the future. Now we have third party data. Those audiences on Facebook, when you run ads on Meta and says, "Oh, this is a mom and parent between 40," and that's BS. They after 12, after iOS 12, they don't know who they are, because 95% of people opt out of being tracked. I opt out of being tracked. I don't know. I guess maybe my father, they opt in for being tracked, but it's not
you would
common
know
thing
maybe the
for.
older demographic, right?
Yeah, maybe all the demographics stay being tracked, but something that everyone is every day being more connected is with their privacy. They are tired of being tracked. So what happened? Huge platforms like Meta, Google. I would say Meta is one of the ones who are getting the tough position, because they have social media. They know how you behave with an ad. They know that you saw an ad, you stayed an ad, but they really don't know who you are unless you set the information on the profile. They don't know if they have you don't know if they have kids. You don't know, maybe based on the contextual, who could be that person. But companies like Google, they know. How they know? Because they have your mail, they have your login in every
They
platform.
know who you're communicating with, what demographic of
They
those
have
people you're communicating with. Yeah.
the family link, so they know if you have kids, how old your kids, gender of your kid. They know you, so they know you better, and that's how Google is being able to stay in the market after those huge companies coming, because they own the data. You know, um, People said, okay, search maybe it's going to die. search the way we used to. Remember when you used to search 1 year ago? You search, you research, you find the top 10 locations, you try to scrape the data, the organic results, not all the ads, and then you go to those websites and you see what's value for you there. Right now, you don't need it. You make a question and the same, as that was a great move from Google, because if not, they're going to disappear really soon. Now they respond from AI. They make the homework for you.
Yeah, I
so
saw
you don't
that.
have to search.
That's my next topic. That's my next episode. I'm really interested in the way that they're doing that, because it's just like it's the evolution of searches, basically. In terms
search is
of
going to disappear the way we if you think about the SEO, 20 years of work of SEO, that's going to disappear from one day. It's like worse than penguin. There's gonna
we have to adjust. It's what's to come. We have to adjust. Gerardo, if anybody's interested in learning more about growth hacking, maybe getting in touch with your company, what's the best way in doing that?
I would love to add me on LinkedIn / Gerardo Sandoval, Facil Cloud, and you're gonna take to my profile. You're gonna see a Zen guy meditating. That's me.
I'm gonna include that link below. Thank you, Gerardo. I really appreciate your insight and sharing your knowledge. We hope to have you join us again in the near future, maybe for another topic. But I was really, it was great to learn more about growth hacking from your perspective.
Amazing, Eric, and I love it. I love it. I love your vibe.
That's a wrap for today's episode. If you've benefited from what you've learned today, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. You can also find all our past and future episodes on YouTube and Spotify under Brains Byte Back. And if you'd like to connect with us directly, you can always reach out to us by email at info@sociable.co. Remember, your feedback helps us grow. We welcome it. We appreciate you joining us. Until next time.